Tanjiro has shown his astonishing speed, IQ, and power with sun breathing, to the level that he can even match Yoriichi in power. He is part of the Kamado family after all, but what if he was trained by Giyu? Would he ever unlock sun breathing, and would he go on to become the Water Hashira and completely obliterate demons? We'll just have to find out. But wait! We are trying to hit 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year, so unsheath your Nichiren blade and slash that button. Just how Mauricio cut up Kyoko. Now let's jump straight into the video. Tanjiro is hiking up the mountain towards his home when he suddenly smells something evil and demonic. At the same time, the scent of blood appears in the air. Tanjiro starts sprinting towards his house, and as soon as he reaches it, Tanjiro sees his whole family lying on the floor, slaughtered. He then notices that his little sister Nezuko is still breathing, and he rushes out the house to get her to a doctor immediately. But as he was running down a hill, Nezuko awakens and starts trying to eat Tanjiro. Then Tanjiro loses his balance and falls off the hill. Luckily, he and Nezuko land in some soft snow. But then, out of nowhere, Nezuko starts to ferociously attack Tanjiro. And this is the exact moment Giyu arrives and takes Nezuko. Now this is where the first real change in the storyline would happen. After Tanjiro fails to attack Giyu, and Nezuko then protects Tanjiro, instead of Giyu sending Tanjiro to Master Urodaki, Giyu would decide to make Tanjiro his Tegugu. Pause. Now we will have a short time skip. During this time skip, Giyu will teach Tanjiro everything he knows. At first, Tanjiro is barely able to keep up with the intense training a Sugoku must endure. And since we see Kano at the end of the final selection not even being scratched, plus Giyu is a bit stronger than Shinobu, at the end of the time skip, Naruto would be quite strong Shinobi. Oops, wrong anime. Tanjiro would be a bit stronger than Kano, and Tanjiro would easily go on to pass final selection and take on some lower-ranked missions. Tanjiro would then meet up with Nezu and Inosuke to take on Mount Namaguno. And as Tanjiro in the game approached Mount Namaguno, of course, Nezu would decide to stay back. What a crybaby, when he sees a demon slayer being dragged back into the forest. Then the same events of the original story would transpire. As they continued walking, Tanjiro would meet Rui face to face. Now, would Tanjiro be able to defeat Rui? Yes, and this time he would behead the demon faster than he would before, using water-breathing 11th form. This also means Tanjiro would not unlock Hinokami Kagura, since he was not yet pushed to his limits. Now we move on to the Mugen Train arc. Tanjiro, Netsu, and Inosuke would all board the Mugen Train, and Enmu would immediately put our gang of heroes into a dream. But luckily, Tanjiro was able to break out the dream world by actually, I'll spare you the details. You do not want to know what he did. Once Tanjiro and the others wake up, they scatter to try and save everyone on board the train. Inosuke and Tanjiro engage with Enmu, who was turned into a giant meat train, but Tanjiro was still able to take Enmu by using 2 forms of water breathing simultaneously, just sustaining more damage in the process. Rengoku, Zenitsu, and Nezuko are all able to save the passengers in the train, but suddenly, when everything seemed to be going perfectly, Akaza arrived. Rengoku quickly scooped to face Akaza, and the battle began. Akaza was surprised at Rengoku's strength and praised him. Akaza would pause the battle to ask if Rengoku wanted to become a demon and be able to fight him once more, but Rengoku declines his offer. Akaza would be quite disappointed, and just like in the original show, Akaza would kill Rengoku. Tanjiro would be enraged, and unlike the original series, Tanjiro is going to begin to harbor a hatred so powerful, Muzan himself may not even fail to stop it. As we move on to the entertainment district, a couple things would change about Tanjiro. Number 1, Tanjiro is a bit more ruthless when he faces demons. This Tanjiro will have no mercy when it comes to killing demons, except Nezuko, of course. But he would still kill them respectfully and honestly, and have a bit of sadness in his heart when he kills them. Tanjiro's whole person would change. He would become quieter and would speak not as much as you're used to. This Tanjiro would be a bit more like Mushiro and Giyu combined. Unpause. Now after moving into the entertainment district, Tanjiro encounters Daki, and the battle begins. Daki yells at Tanjiro how ugly he is, and that such an ugly sight must die. Tanjiro uses all of his strength, but Daki is quickly overpowering him. Elsewhere, Inosuke stumbled upon a passageway under the house that leads to a huge cave full of obi. but with the help of Zenitsu and Tengen's wives, Inosuke is able to get the underground cave under control. In the meantime, Tanjiro has just awakened Hinokami Kagura for the first time and temporarily gained the advantage on Daki, surprising her. But Daki quickly back on track. Tanjiro is weakened by Daki, relentlessly attacking him. Tanjiro is on the ground, uselessly. Daki came in for the final blow, but then suddenly, out of nowhere, Nezuko jumped in front of Tanjiro and kicked Daki off the building. No! Nezuko! Tanjiro groaned. Nezuko easily pins Daki to the ground, stomping her arm off. Dang, Nezuko, talk about anger issues. But during Nezuko and Daki's fight, Nezuko gets fixated on some human blood and lunges at the humans. But then Tanjiro leaps in front of Nezuko, using his sword to cover Nezuko's mouth. Nezuko, stop! Please! The only thing that responded to Tanjiro was a deep, evil growl. Nezuko! Tanjiro looked down and saw Nezuko's hand in his flesh. Suddenly, Nezuko snapped out of whatever frenzy she was in. Tanjiro took the sword away from her mouth. Good. I'm glad you're back, sister. Nezuko looked at what she did, and she knew there's only one way to save Tanjiro from death. And that thing was Muzan's blood. She loomed over Tanjiro, who was slowly bleeding out. She knew the only way to save her beloved brother was to give him some of her blood. Daki and Tengen both arrive, and Tengen is able to behead Daki. But not soon after beheading Daki, Jotaro appears, and the battle between Tengen and Jotaro commences. Nezuko grabs Tanjiro and quickly rushes to a nearby building, where she begins to give Tanjiro her blood. You're such a great dog! I'll kill you for ruining my beauty! Daki yells. Daki lunges at Nezuko, preparing to kill her. You won't be touching Nezuko or Tanjiro, a voice says. Then, his flash is lightning. Then suddenly, Zenitsu appears, using his sword to knock Daki away. Let me kill a demon, Zetsu! Inosuke yelled. Let's do this, Inosuke. Inosuke and Zenitsu both rushed at Daki. Meanwhile, Uzui is using all his strength against Jotaro, but he needs help immediately or the poison will kill him. That's when Nezuko jumps forward, using her blood demon art to cut off Jotaro's hand before he beheaded Uzui. Then in one final attempt, our heroes are finally able to behead the upper rank 6 demons. Nezuko rushes back to Tanjiro to see that the transformation has already begun. Suddenly, she feels extremely tired and falls to the ground, beginning to sleep. Pause. Now that Tanjiro is a demon, let me explain how this will work. Tanjiro is actually not fully demon. He's actually half demon, half human. The reason for this is he still has some humanity left because half of his body rejected the demon blood while the other half accepts it. This is something completely new that I've created just for this what if. For reference, think of Kaneki from Tokyo Ghoul. Unpause. Tanjiro would wake up and miss Tamio's house. Tamio would quickly come over to Tanjiro's bedside to explain the situation. Muzan has discovered that Tanjiro has conquered the sun and is now rallying all the demons together to make one final push against the demon slayers. Now we have the Swordsmith's village arc. Tanjiro, unlike in the original story, would decide to train with Miss Tamio instead of going to the Swordsmith's village. That means Sanemi would go to the Swordsmith's village instead of Tanjiro. Everything would go the same in that arc, so I feel no need to cover it. So let's move on to the final arc. Muzan arrives at Master Ubushaki's mansion, where they would have a chat about the purpose of life and why Muzan kills humans. But in the end, Ubashiki would blow up his village. Unfortunately, Muzan would survive, and the Demon Slayer corpse would be alerted by the Kasagiki crows that Muzan has killed Ubashiki. Miss Tamio would arrive, stabbing Muzan with a cure for a demon. At the same time, she used her blood demon art to trap Muzan. Tanjiro and the rest of the Slayers would arrive at the remains of the Ubashiki mansion. They all would immediately rush towards Muzan, but suddenly a huge castle appeared below them, and all the Demon Slayers fell into the castle. Giyu and Tanjiro stood to face the Kaza, and this is the moment Tanjiro went crazy with rage, using his newly acquired blood demon art, Soul Fire, to attack Akaza. But even with his blood demon art, Akaza was too powerful. And pause the video right here, everybody. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. So if you can hit that subscribe button, it would help me more than you can know. Now let's jump back into the video. With extreme speed, Akaza blitzed in front of Tanjiro, and he was going to kill Tanjiro! Meanwhile, filled with anger, Tsunetsu would confront Kagaku. And after Tsunetsu yelled at Kagaku that he was the reason that their master killed himself, the battle began. Each exchanged blows over and over, but Kagaku's blood demon art, Black Lightning, combined with Thunderbolt, and quickly overpowered Tsunetsu. But Zetsu, Tsunetsu, I didn't just go home Zetsu. Forget that! But Tsunetsu was not going to give up so easily. He was able to connect the blow to the neck of Kagaku. Blood stained Kagaku's clothes. In another part of the castle, Shinobu just realized that she had come face to face to the demon who murdered her sister, Doma. Shinobu drew her custom blade and began attacking Doma with such speed an untrained eye could never see what was happening. But Doma used his blood demon art to block Shinobu's attacks. But Shinobu was not going to give up yet. She rushed forward to behead Doma, but then a huge ice flower crashed into her, sending her flying. But she quickly recovers and then uses insect weaving to launch Doma into the ceiling. She then jumps up like a butterfly as suddenly the sky and stabs Doma in the heart. She begins to fall to the ground. She had used up all her strength she had left within her. Doma implanted ice into the ceiling, allowing him to stick to the ceiling. He sent an ice bind that caught Shinobu. The bind then pulled her back to the ceiling, where Doma seemed to embrace her. So, Admiral, you tried so hard. Let us live together for eternity. Any last words? I'm listening. Shinobu coughed. Go to heck! Tsunetsu and Kagaku both stood facing each other, both breathing heavily. Kagaku, this is for everything you think did to me. Ha! Like a weakling like you could defeat Hanakajushi no Kami. Tsunetsu suddenly flew through the air like a dragon, easily beheading Kagaku. Yeah! Kagaku's head yelled. Tanjiro and Giyu face Akaza in an epic battle. Shinobu has been killed just as Kano arrives to face Dona. With Lady Tamiya has Sasan trapped and Kagaku is dead. What's next to happen in this story? So I was just about to destroy Tanjiro when suddenly Giyu leaps in front of Tanjiro, taking the deadly blow. Master! Tanjiro yells as he sees Giyu laying lifelessly on the floor. He runs over to his master. Master, Giyu, please! Tanjiro holds Giyu's hands tightly. Tanjiro, go on, live a great life. Please, don't die. As Giyu's hands falls to the ground, Tanjiro can no longer smell the scent of Giyu's heart. Tanjiro stood up. You demons, you killed my family, my friends, my master. Tanjiro meets eyes with Akaza. And now, it's time to pay! Vermilion Eye! Kano yells as she and Inosuke pound on Doma. Kano grins. Thank you, Shinobu. Even in death, you continue to aid me. Kano remembers what Shinobu said before the final battle. If we encounter the unbreak demon who killed our sister, you and I will have to fight it. But the first condition is that I will have to be eaten by the demon and die. Suddenly, Doma starts to weaken as his skin starts to melt. What is happening? Inosuke, aim for his neck! Press him, now! Why? If we fight together, I'm sure we can win. I need you to stop thinking softly like that. At present, I have a high concentration of Wisteria poison circulating through my blood and internal organs, even down to the tips of my fingernails. If the demon eats me as I am now, the dose of poison he will ingest will be 37 kilograms, which is about 70 times the lethal amount. What is this? What is happening to me? What is this feeling? Why is this happening? Doma asks himself. Could it be that Hashira? However, there is no guarantee that the poison will kill the upper rank. So the poison actually does begin to work. You must cut off his head and finish him. I will not fail to weaken the demon. Don't worry, sister. I'll end this demon right here and now, Kano says to herself. Beast breathing! Flower breathing. Kano and Inosuke yell as they finally behead Doma and gain revenge for Shinobu's death. No, I can't die. I still have so many wounds to ease. So, you finally died, Shinobu says, holding Doma's head in the afterlife. She grins. Guess Kano did it after all. Tanjiro holds his blade tight in his hands as the blue flames erupt from his sword. Now, it's time to pay! As he rushes forward to behead Akaza. What? His speed has increased incredibly fast. Akaza is quickly able to dodge Tanjiro's attack. Before Akaza even has time to recover, Tanjiro ruthlessly slashes Akaza's head off. Tanjiro lowers his sword when suddenly Akaza regrows his head. Dang it, Tanjiro whispered in his breast as he leapt away from the upper-ranked demon. I cut his head unevenly. I need to focus. Nice try, Tanjiro. Don't worry, I will always remember you as one of my strongest opponents. Akaza stared casually. Tanjiro then pointed his sword at Akaza and lashed devilishly. You are too easily fooled when my flames are much stronger now. Remember that. Suddenly, Akaza begins to feel a burning sensation in his neck, then arms and legs, and eventually it feels like his whole body is about to explode in flames. Akaza tries to move, but it seems like his entire body has been terrorized by Tanjiro's soul flames. Tanjiro then menacingly walks up to Akaza and puts his finger on the upper moon's head. I feel your pain and your suffering. You've had a hard life. May you be born in peace. Tanjiro then stabs his finger into Akaza, exploding him. Now, I must find Mitsuri and Obanai. Have you been enjoying this video so far? Well, if you want to support me and help me make more videos, go ahead and slap that subscribe button. It would be really awesome. Crack! Mitsuri, no! Obanai yells as he jumps away from the moving temple wall. Obanai curses under his breath. If only I had smashed the wall before it hit her. Obanai, Mitsuri said as tears streamed down her face, as well as a smile. I'm okay. Obanai spattled back at her as two demons leapt at him. He easily cut them down. Obanai quickly brought his sword to his side, blowing off any blood on his blade. Mitsuri, stay down. I will handle the rest now. Nakime, the upper rank 4 demon, began to play her biwa, changing the form of the room. The floor under Obanai suddenly collapsed, but luckily, the Hashira was able to jump onto the wall, running across it like a ninja. He leapt off the wall to strike Nakime's neck, but a wooden wall appeared which blocked his strike. He cut down the wall, but soon more walls appeared to block his path. Obanai continued to strike the walls when suddenly he was struck in the face. Then he felt 4 demonic hands grab his arms. He opens his eyes to see Koto Shibo, the upper rank 1 demon, staring into his deep, dark green eyes. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed the video.